Welcome to Wisdom Wednesdays. Do you tell people how much you weigh? Sharing this kind of information can be pretty rare. Why the trepidation? Well, when someone knows how much you weigh, you can be and feel judged. It reflects your lifestyle choices, which may or may not align to theirs, and how much you weigh can be compared to a well-advertised standard. You may fall short of the ideal. This is all true for our weight on the scale, and is also true about how much we're weighing our options these days. We're moving from clear right or wrong behavioral rules to being able to make the trade-offs that we're comfortable living with. Now, several weeks ago, we had clear rules to follow. Some still chose to break them, like those coming off an international flight. They'd be resolved to self-isolate for 2 weeks, but after they stopped off at the grocery store on the way home from the airport, they weighed the reward of food to be greater than the risk that they posed to others. Now that things are opening up, there's even more weighing going on because there are more options allowed in terms of how you're going to behave. Less thinking about the rules, more thinking about your trade-offs. You don't weigh whether to stop at the stop sign or not. If you don't stop, you might kill or be killed. So how are you going to weigh your options when the rules are less defined, but the outcomes could be as dire? How are you weighing the trade-off, let's say, between the discomfort of wearing a mask in a store versus protecting others if you're asymptomatic? How are you weighing the desire and rights that you have to go to cottage country versus the comfort of the people who are living there full time? How are you weighing the joy of going back to get your favorite restaurant meal against the risk of actually going into the restaurant? How about sitting 3, not 6 feet apart from fellow golfers on the 19th hole because you know these people and you want to signal that you trust them? But that doesn't mean squat to COVID-19, but you've weighed the risk and the rewards and you've made your choice. But be aware that the decisions that you make are affecting others. Maybe you even veer off the path to allow 6 feet between you and others walking in the park. But then you have a couple of joggers come up from behind 2 feet away from you. Do they think their speed and exertion is actually reducing their effect on you? Quite the opposite. Maybe they've weighed the trade-off to your detriment, or maybe they're thoughtless. I think a large part depends on whether you consider yourself to be healthy versus infected with no outward symptoms. And what about your friends? Are they healthy or asymptomatic? Funnily, it seems we're gauging the people we know the best to be the least likely to be infected. Makes no sense in reality. What might I suggest? At the very least, this is a great time to share what you've been weighing. Share what trade-offs you're prepared to make and why they're reasonable for you. Like our weight on the scale, weighing in on what we're prepared to do and how we're prepared to live is an obvious lifestyle choice. And those choices, if within the guidelines, should be accepted, not judged. We have the right to weigh what we choose to. For once, I might even share what I weigh.